In this video, I'm going to be talking about the power of the outdoors for toddlers, why and how to have outdoor adventures with your little one. Hi guys, I'm Cara, welcome back to my channel. I am mum to 2.5-year-old Ben, and Thomas and I, as parents, are super passionate about getting our little guy outdoors. Both of us have worked for a long time in outdoor education, so we've both seen firsthand the benefits of just getting kids outside. I have made a few videos before with, for example, advice on how to hike with a baby or toddler, on the baby carriers that we use when we're out and about, and even on how to wild camp with little ones. So if that's something that you're interested in, please have a think about hitting subscribe, and I will link some of the related videos below in case you want to check those out as well. So let's get started. So my first benefit of outdoor play for toddlers is that I truly believe it helps to build resilience. Whether that is just running along a forest path, falling and then getting back up again and carrying on, or being outdoors in rain or shine, I feel like resilience is such a buzzword at the moment, something that I think we all really passionately want our children to have, that ability to bounce back in the face of adversity, and I feel that that is just something that happens so naturally when you're spending time outdoors. Secondly, I think that just being outdoors and truly appreciating the beauty and everything that we have around us helps children to care for and understand nature and the environment. I do think that in Scotland we currently have a big problem with litter. A lot of people don't think about the impact of throwing their rubbish and what that's actually doing to the beautiful outdoor spaces that we have, and also to the animals that live there. I have turned into a little bit of an eco-mum, especially during lockdown, where no matter where we're walking, we have a litter picker and bin bags with us, and I am just collecting the rubbish that I see. This has already had a huge impact on Ben. He loves to point out when he sees litter when we're out and about, or indeed actually use the litter picker, which, to be fair, is quite fun if you're 2 years old. And now he's really aware that that's not what you should be doing, because it has an impact and he can see it firsthand. And then there are huge benefits for gross motor skill development. There are no boundaries when you're in a forest or field, so your toddler can just run as fast as they want and as far as they want, as long as you can still see them. Nature is the perfect playground. There is so much to climb. There are natural things to go under. It's great for balance. There's so many different terrains that children can experience. There are stairs to climb, and there are also so many opportunities for maximum effort, so children really pushing themselves as far as they can go. For example, Ben loves to find the biggest rock that he can possibly find on a riverbank, and that is the one that he will choose to throw in, and it is so interesting to see him trying to problem solve if he maybe can't lift it, how he's going to get it to the water. So there's just so many opportunities for development and learning. And then there are just limitless possibilities for open-ended play. Just being outdoors breeds creativity. Whether that's Ben picking up a stick that becomes a broomstick or a magic wand, whether that is him finding a tree stump that he climbs on top of and it's a castle, it just allows children to play with the things that they find in whichever way they want. Often we bring the outdoors inside because a lot of the things that Ben will find or collect in walks he wants to bring home with him, and we do have a loose parts bowl that is pretty much made up of things that we have found in nature and Ben plays with on a daily basis. I see lots of parents set up amazing sensory play for their little ones, but most of this you can get outdoors just by going for a walk. It really stimulates all the senses and is such a stimulating environment, whether that's just putting your hands in a small stream and feeling the running cold water, whether that's feeling the rough bark of a tree, hearing the birds, tasting berries when it's the season for them, as long as you know what you're doing. There's just so much to discover for a baby or toddler outdoors. Now the next one is something that I feel very passionate about, and that is that being outdoors allows your children to take risks. Of course, this is in a controlled, managed environment because you're usually there as well, but it allows them to try things out, make mistakes, maybe slip a little bit or fall a little bit, but they're learning all the time, and I think that this really sets them up for later in life when they actually have to look at a situation and manage the risk themselves. I feel that if we protect children too much and wrap them up in cotton wool, they're not taking those really important risks by themselves to discover and understand their own abilities. So to give you an example of this, in the forests, on a forest path, there are quite often roots on the ground. Now the first few times that we went out in this environment when Ben could first walk, of course he fell over a few times, nothing was really serious, you know, he tripped a little bit, but we just let it happen because he's really quickly learned from that, and now he is very sure-footed on the forest floor. He knows what to look for, so he has kind of understood that risk, managed that risk, and now he knows what to do. And I just think that that is such a learning process. Of course, you don't want to put your child in a situation where there's any risk of serious injury, but I think that these small learning curves are really important for a child's development. The next one is something that I love, and that is that outdoor play really helps your toddlers sleep better. I notice a marked difference on the days that we have the opportunity to go out for a few hours. He sleeps so much better than the days where we are just stuck at home. He has the ability to run, to exhaust himself, to really push himself to his own limit if he wants, and then when his head hits the pillow, he is out. So most days, not just for the fact he sleeps better, but also because we all enjoy it, we do get out for as much of the day as we can. Being outdoors also offers so many opportunities for exploration, for discovery, and for problem solving together. Quite often, if we're out for a walk, we just let Ben run ahead and discover and explore what he wants to. For example, if he finds a fallen tree that has lots of really interesting bugs, we will just let him take the time to discover that at his own pace. Then there are also obstacles that you come across when you're out and about. For example, a small stream that we might have to cross together. So then it's really about looking at it together, evaluating it. How are we going to cross it? Do we have to go to another point where there might be a bridge that's big enough? Are we going to step across stones? Are we wearing welly boots so it's okay to just walk through it? There are so many opportunities for looking at a problem together and trying to solve it. I also feel that there are so many opportunities presented for meaningful learning when you're outdoors. So if I take a forest walk for an example, you can talk about weather, seasons, life cycles, you can talk about the plants and animals that you see, edible plants if that's something that you feel comfortable with, and also it's fantastic for language when you're talking about what you see, how it feels, what its use is or its habitat is. There are just so many opportunities for discovery. And also I think that it really encourages curiosity and encourages children to ask questions about what they see, hear, feel as well, which I think is just so brilliant for a lifelong learning journey. My 10th and final reason, and possibly the most important and the one with the biggest impact, is that it really allows time to connect with your child or to connect as a family. When we set aside time to go outside, we're leaving all stress and worry about the other a million things that we have to do. We're leaving all electronics behind and we're just going outdoors and spending time together. I do have to admit that over the past year, I have really struggled with feeling anxious for obvious reasons, and spending time outdoors with my two boys has genuinely been my saving grace. I feel so much better after having spent a few hours outdoors. I would totally recommend this book, The Wild Remedy, if you want to find out a little bit more about the benefits of being outside. This is awesome, and right in the introductory paragraph it talks about the fact that in Japan, spending time outdoors or forest bathing is something that is actually prescribed because there are so many proven health benefits. So just to mention a few of the things, your blood pressure decreases when you're spending time outdoors, your levels of stress hormone drop, you feel less anxious, your pulse rates go down, and when you spend time outdoors, especially if you're spending time among trees. There have also been studies which have shown that being outdoors boosts your immune system, and that is obviously something which is incredibly important just now. So moving on from my 10 tips of why you should get your toddler outdoors to my tips for how to do that. And my first tip is that there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes. I would 100% recommend investing in really good quality overalls or waterproofs. We have a set of kind of salopette-like trousers and a jacket, but you get loads of really good quality all-in-ones as well. I will try and link something similar to what we have down below. Also a really good set of wellies or walking boots. We are real big lovers of like a snood, a buff, which is like a scarf that's not going to fly about everywhere. And having these things means that we can just go out in any weather and Ben is always comfortable. This also allows Ben to explore things when we're outside that otherwise we might be a little bit reluctant to let him do, like jumping in a stream or a giant puddle or just sitting down in the mud. There is also a whole range of cost when it comes to waterproofs. We actually got ours in Lidl, so they were very inexpensive and they've been fantastic quality. But if you do want to invest in some really good quality ones, I feel like they are so worth it. We use ours on a daily basis, and when I think of the hours of fun you get for that piece of clothing, it is literally priceless. My next tip is to ditch the buggy or stroller, be a little bit brave and hit the trails. We have an amazing carrier. We have an Osprey Poco AG. I have talked a little bit about some of our carriers before, so I will link those videos above and below in case you're interested in checking them out. But this has allowed us to explore so many beautiful places. There are fantastic websites, Facebook groups for really beautiful local walks or further afield after we're allowed to coming out of lockdown. And I would totally recommend, if you're in Scotland, Walk Highlands, Gillian's Walks. These are great places to find some really beautiful places to explore. My next piece of advice is something that is actually sometimes very difficult to do, and that is, at least for part of your walk, to go at the child's pace. I feel like as adults we often have a bit of a destination mindset. We know where we want to go on a walk, we want to get there and we want to get back. There is a fantastic German proverb which is Der Weg ist das Ziel, like the journey is the goal, the destination, and I think that fantastically reflects what a walk with a child should be. And actually good advice all round, because I feel that I actually see so much more and appreciate so much more when I'm going a walk and seeing everything as Ben does. I mentioned earlier that sometimes we also just let Ben take the lead, so if we go to a forested area, we will just let Ben lead the way and we will follow. It's amazing what you end up seeing and discovering, and also it's giving him a real element of control over where he goes and what he sees. If, however, we are going to the mountains and we do have a little bit more of a destination in mind because we want to go to a summit and back within a certain time frame, we do put him in the carrier, but we will make sure that there are plenty of opportunities when it's safe to do so to stop and let him explore what's around him. And my next tip is to allow exploration and to some extent a little bit of risk as well. As long as you can see it's relatively safe to do so, let them climb on things, let them pick up sticks, let them get muddy or wet. Just make sure that you're prepared for those things, and your little one will totally thank you for it and have literally the best time. My next piece of advice is to learn along with your child and embrace it. I thought I had a reasonable knowledge of plants and animals, but since I've had Ben, for example, my knowledge of birds has significantly increased. If we're walking, Ben will ask me what something is, and if I don't know, we will look it up. I'll use my phone to do that, or we've started to build a little bit of a collection of nature books, which helps us just be a little bit more aware of what's around us. I know that until now I've talked about this from a relatively privileged point of view, in that we do live in rural Scotland. We have really easy access to the mountains, to forested areas, to farmland. We really have everything pretty much on our doorstep, and I know that that is really not the same for everyone, but nature is everywhere. It's in small parks, it's in a garden, it's in the plants that pop up in the cracks between the pavement. So my piece of advice here is that you can find nature pretty much wherever you are, or bring it to you, grow things on your balcony, try and embrace it as much as possible. And my final piece of advice is for anyone who has a toddler who's a little bit reticent to spend large periods of time outside or even to walk for a long time. Now, I feel like Ben has pretty much already been through every one of these phases. Times when he just doesn't want to walk when we're out, times when he just doesn't want to go out because he's so engrossed in what he's playing with indoors. And I would say with this, it's just about being patient and being a little bit persistent. So if Ben really doesn't want to go outside, we'll say, well, it's really important to us to get outside for a little bit, so we're going to go even for a short amount of time. And in reality, when we're out, he just doesn't want to then come home. And for example, when he doesn't want to walk, that's one of the main reasons that we do have the carrier, so that we can let him have a little rest pretty easily. But we do also try to encourage him to walk as much as possible, but we don't force it or push it. As he's getting older, it is so obvious to see that he wants to walk so much more and also has the ability to walk so much more, which is so great for his fitness. Okay, so now I really hope that I have inspired you to get outdoors a little bit more and have this amazing quality time with your little one. If you have any questions or you would like any product recommendations, please just drop me a comment below and I would be more than happy to help. And if you've enjoyed today's video, please have a think about hitting the like button and or the subscribe button if you'd like to see more. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you'll join me again in another video. I will link the playlist at the end with all of our outdoor adventures already on this channel. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye!